Yeah, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's good? So Errol the True Spence Jr. is making his return to the ring versus unified 154-pound champion Sebastian Fundora. Currently holds a WBC and a WBO. We all know that Sebastian Fundora is coming off of the biggest win in his career versus undefeated Tim Tszyu. And it was a, slightly controversial fight just because of the, all of the blood and the eye injury to Tim Tszyu, which, ultimately has some impact on him being able to see and perform in that fight. But that's part of the game. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the game. Both guys were bloody, and Sebastian Fundora pulled that win out, man, and put on an impressive performance and, did what it took to win. And that put him in position to be in line to fight Errol Spence Jr. or Terrence Bud Crawford. Now, speaking of Terrence Crawford, who is currently the WBA champion, he was essentially next man in line, rightfully. And I believe there's been some sort of agreement or concession made to allow this fight to go on and Terrence Crawford get his on the back end. I don't know if there was some money under the table or anything like that, but this fight is going to take place, Errol Spence versus Sebastian Fundora, for 2 belts, unified championship, and then Terrence Crawford will absolutely be the next person to have dibs on those titles. So it's setting up to be something amazing. And you got to keep in mind, we got Jermell Charlo hanging in the balance. You feel what I'm saying? Behind the scenes in the gym, working out and getting right. So he wants to come back and claim his crown as the undisputed champion at 154. And I mean, there's so many other young guys. You still got Jesus Ramos, you got Erickson Lubin at 154. You got a lot of guys that can make a splash at 154, man. But look, Errol Spence Jr. is making his return, man. And just to give y'all my honest thoughts, when this fight first was even talked about, I didn't really think it was a great fight for Errol Spence coming off of the devastating loss to Terrence Crawford, the way he lost in that fight, the punishment and damage that he took physically. And then you got to think about the mental aspect of it, right? And so you look at the style of Sebastian Fundora, a guy who is known for being in bloody wars, a guy who is known for being able to throw 1,000 punches in a fight, who comes forward, who's 6'5" with this weird frame in the super welterweight division, who has power, who, has amazing uppercuts, right? This guy is just a different type of fighter in that division. And for a guy like Errol Spence, if, you would have asked me, well, who do I have, Errol Spence or Sebastian Fundora, prior to Errol Spence fighting Terrence Crawford, I would have easily said Errol Spence is the favorite in that fight. Right? With Errol Spence's ability to attack the body, Sebastian Fundora being a taller guy with his torso and frame more exposed than other opponents that Errol Spence have seen, that's an easy target for Errol Spence. But with the inactivity, the fact that he's coming off of a loss like that, Spence, and the ring rust, man, you can't just discount that. And that's why I wish Errol Spence wasn't on this, oh, I don't take no tune-ups type of deal. That's commendable and it's respectable, you know what I mean? Because as a fan, I want to see you fight the best competitions, but also as a fan, I just want to see you fight. So I'd rather see you fight somebody than just be out the ring for over a year, time after time after time. Because that's a detriment to you as a fighter, And it just doesn't bode well to prepare for a big fight like this. And this is a big fight. It's going to be in Texas, most likely, at Cowboy Stadium, Errol Spence hometown. Any fight there is huge. Not to mention the fact that it's a unification. Not to mention it's your comeback fight from your first loss in your career. It's a huge fight. And I want Errol Spence to be at his absolute best, man. And I just don't know if that's going to be the case with him taking so much time off. But stylistically, it's a great fight. I think there's going to be action, bro. It's going to be action. Both of these guys are going to collide. They both come forward. Errol Spence has thrown 1,000 punches in fights before. These guys let their hands go. And I just don't see this fight going the distance. Somebody is going to get hurt in this fight. The interesting thing is, how does Errol Spence bounce back mentally from that loss? And then also, this is his first fight at 154. That's another factor. How does he look? How does he feel? What does his power feel like? What's his punch resistance like? You know, can he take these shots from these bigger guys? All of those things are going to come into play. And then, you know, you got to think about what's next too. If Errol Spence wins, does he retire? Does he go out on top, unified champion in 2 divisions? He was unified at 147. You win this fight, you unified at 154. You're a 2-division champ, unified in 2 different divisions. That's a hell of a career. Go out on top in your hometown. Or do you take it a step further and unify with Terrence Crawford for a rematch? Try to get your get back. Hey, it's a lot to consider, man. But I want to hear y'all thoughts, man. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this fight. At first glance, who you got winning and why. And what do you think could potentially happen next? If Errol Spence wins, does he go after Terrence Crawford? Does he retire? Do you actually think this fight is going to happen, with all of the mixed signals being sent from Errol Spence in terms of, is he going to keep fighting? Is he going to retire? Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Contender Regime Boxing. I'll holler at y'all boys, man.